What's up, y'all? It's your girl Chanel from Complex Simplicity. Hope that you all have had a safe day today. Today is Halloween, and I know for those who live in New York, New York City, you heard about the attack, what they're calling or deeming a terrorist attack that happened earlier today, where 8 people have been killed due to this guy driving a Home Depot truck and just, I guess, hitting people. So sad. I feel for those families of the individuals who have passed away. I feel for the families of the others who were severely hurt. It's real out here. I know my husband's been telling me all day that today's just been in rare form. We both, for some reason, always seem to work on Halloween. I'm in the social work field, and so sorry if I got makeup. And so I try not to do too much on a day like today because a big part of my job is being in a lot of hoods, urban communities for the politically correct. And I'm in people's buildings. I'm all over. I'm in the projects. I'm tenement apartments, wherever. And my husband's a fireman, so you already know he's a first responder and is in a lot of different neighborhoods. We both work in the South Bronx. And today I actually did have some field work, but thank God I had the wisdom and insight to schedule field work early in the day from the morning to the early afternoon. And then I stopped by the office to let traffic die down a bit. And then I made my way home, got home by 8 o'clock. Praise be to Jesus, I made it home safely. No car accidents, no problems with people in the street. I went to my car, got in my car, drove my tail home. Sorry, y'all, but I feel like the hair is weird. Every now and then, I feel like how I try to place these locks in the front, it differs. But anyway, so yes, and I saying continued prayers for my husband to make sure that he is safe throughout the night, he and his co-workers, his fellow firemen. So please be safe out there, folks. I don't think it's worth it to trick or treat and do all this late night stuff, whether you're adults, whether you're with your kids, like, do all that when the sun is still out and then everybody go home, right? For those who do participate in Halloween, please do all that stuff moving forward when the sun is out, regardless of whether you have kids or not, especially if you're with your kids. I don't think it's worth it, at least in the tri-state area, in the hoods that I frequent. Halloween is a huge gang initiation day. It's known for that. And so anybody who's out there, I say past 8 o'clock, past 7:30 even, you're kind of looking for trouble or putting yourself in a potentially compromising situation, which is so not worth it, just to pick up some candy, right? Not worth it. Also, parents, please check that candy, because you still never know out here. It's an evil world that we live in. I'm not saying be uber paranoid, but let's also just keep in our minds that a lot of times people will use days like Halloween to do some of the most evilest things out there. So my prayer and hope is that everyone makes it home safely tonight, or for those who work overnight, that you get home safely in the morning. And don't really know what I wanted to talk about today. I feel like lately this is kind of how these vlogs start out. I don't really know fully what I want to say, but sometimes I find when everything is not necessarily preconceived, it comes out to be a dope vlog when it's on the whim, on the fly, right? And so I've been watching a myriad of things. On my personal social media, I posted that I love that show, Big Little Lies. Like, it was really dope. It has Nicole Kidman. It has the girl from Sweet Home Alabama. I always forget her name. Very good show. Don't want to spoil it. Check it out. As you also know, I've been listening to the audiobook of Gabrielle Union. I'm now on chapter 12. So I'm almost done with the book. I noticed that as you get further into the book, the chapters seem to get a little bit shorter. She made a point on my way home tonight as I was listening, and I remember reading and watching a video clip of the point that I'm about to make that Gabrielle Union was talking about in the book. And I have to applaud her for being very transparent and open about a lot of what she discusses in her book. It's personal things, which is why the title is so befitting of We're Gonna Need More Wine, you know? But anyway, she's talking about as an actress, you know, being a Black actress in this game, how, and she didn't even go the color route, but just being an actress in the game, the Hollywood game, how she found herself because she was so unhappy within herself and in her own life. She found herself taking pleasure out of putting down and tearing down other actresses. And maybe these were actresses who were booking more gigs than she has. She of course wasn't going to name the people she was particularly talking about, or this one particular actress she was talking about, but she did say that it had gotten to a point in her life a few years ago where she celebrated the downfalls of another actress to the point where it made her feel so good inside to hate on this other actress publicly, in a social gathering in a room full of people. And it seemed like she was working with like a fitness coach who also seemed to have aspects of like a life coach to them. And when they first started working together, I guess they started out in the boxing ring, and the coach was like, list 10 things that make you happy. And Gabrielle said that she couldn't even barely list 3. She listed 3, and even that was a stretch. And the 3 things she listed were ground meat, imitation crab meat, and something else she said that was another food group, or another food. And, you know, the coach was just like, whoa, I'm not even gonna get on the point that all you listed was food that you are happy about in life, but imitation crab meat? You don't even like the real thing? And so that kind of became the framework of how the coach would help her, I guess, with mind, body, soul, spirit type thing. And, you know, it got to a point where she was like, no, you have to list 10 things that make you happy in life. And finally, months later, Gabrielle was able to come to a place within herself where she was able to determine what makes her happy. What stumped her was the fact that she couldn't answer the question because she didn't even know what would make her happy. And the coach was like, yo, so why were you in a marriage? How were you able to be in a marriage when you didn't even know what made you happy? How was someone else supposed to come along and make you happy, right? And this is around the time, I think maybe right after she had divorced her first husband. And so that same coach was with her at whatever social event that, you know, she was attending this particular night when she was going in on one of these Hollywood actresses, tearing the woman down, and it made her feel good. Of course, those around her, you know, a lot of us as humans, we want to hear the juice. So we're like, give me more, tell me more, tell me how you really feel, you know? That kind of energy can become very addictive, you know, depending on the group of people you're around. Or even I find myself, if I'm being honest, if I'm in the company of people and they start to talk about someone else, like berate and bash the person, there always is this side that wants to give it an ear, right? But then I find myself being like, I can't be a part of this. This is crazy. Let me kind of find my way out, exit stage left. Like, I'm not about, especially with women, tearing down the next woman. And so, you know, she said that she was so unhappy and bitter that it just soothed her soul to tear this actress down. And so when all was said and done and the conversation was over, the coach was like, so that makes you feel good? Did this make you feel good, tearing down this person? Did your house get any bigger? Did you get this person's man? Like, what did you accomplish in tearing down this other woman? You know, and, you know, Gabrielle was like, immediately she felt put in her place. And of course her answer was no. My life didn't get any better with me tearing down this next woman. Now, I'm going to keep it probably the realest I've ever kept it on this website to date. I'm not one that's into tearing down the next woman, right? What I will say is this, if I'm being completely honest though. If I find that there's a woman that has rubbed me the wrong way, or I feel like I've been treated unfairly, unjustly, I've been slighted, I've been hated on, if I'm keeping it real, a part of me, when you see the slip up, whether it's a fashion faux pas or whether it's an opportunity might not have worked out for the person, or anything along those lines, if I'm being real, there is probably 40 to 50% of me that's like, that's what you get, right? Now, I don't feel good saying that or admitting that, but I have to practice what I preach and promote on this website, right? So I have to be willing to go there and to take it there. And so, sorry, nose running, girl, get it together. And so there are times where if I'm feeling slighted, because in my life, I've gone through it where for whatever reasons, whether it's people I've worked with, people I went to church with, people I went to college with, you kind of feel, even growing up prior to all of that, you know, I've experienced where people kind of like been like this with me. And I'm like, what did I do? I don't think I did anything, you know, or where people just would never, and I go through it till this day, never really want to fully support your girl, never want to really give me my just due with certain things, never just want to let your girl be great, if I'm being honest, is how I feel at times, whether it's people who are around me, people who I consider to be friends, people who I don't even know like that, people who I work with. And it's like, why is it every time I turn around, like, let me just be great out here. Like, I didn't do nothing to y'all. But, you know, so when I feel offended, or when I feel some kind of way at times, or I feel like I'm being treated in a way that I'm not treating that person, right? And something doesn't go right for them, there is that 40 to 50% deep down inside that's like, and that's what you get. You know, like, sorry, kind of thing, right? And then as soon as I feel that way, I'm like, no, Chanel, don't be that person. Don't be that girl. Don't go down that rabbit hole. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how people may treat you or how you feel you're being treated or slighted or unsupported or whatever you want to say, never ever get the slightest pleasure, if you can help it, in someone else's demise or in someone else's mess ups or in someone else's stagnantness, if that's a word, in life, you know? And that's something that I truly do make efforts to work on, because I'm really at the core of who I am. I'm not about celebrating people's downfalls. I'm the girl that wants all of us to be happy and ultimately win. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody to experience true romantical, loyal, ride or die to the end love, right? I want everyone to be able to look forward to getting up and going to work and earning their coin and feeling fulfilled in that. For those who want to be parents, I want all of us to be blessed to be able to have successful pregnancies, deliveries, and parenting experiences. Whatever it is, I feel like if we're all at our happier points in life, where we've turned a corner with who we are, we're comfortable in that, we feel good in that, to me, the better place this world would be. There would be less of the jealousy, the envy. There would be less of wanting to take people out and kill. There will be less of all that evil. Maybe if we all would focus on not the narcissistic things about us, but focus on what really matters to make us as healthy as we can be, right? Focus on that man upstairs who, in my belief system, controls all, right? And so I applaud Gabrielle Union Wade for being completely transparent and honest in saying that she spent a large portion of her life celebrating the downfalls and celebrating tearing down other women, because she felt that only one can shine at a time. She felt that only one can make it, especially in that business. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate the candidness. I appreciated her really just keeping it all the way real. You know, we need more of that in life, in Hollywood, in day-to-day situations, at our jobs, in our homes, with ourselves, that realness with each other. You know what I'm saying? And so that, I give her that, right? So I will definitely do my overall review of this book, as I said before, once I'm done. I should be done probably within the next day or two. And it has been ultimately a pretty cool experience while I'm traveling from point A to C. And so for those who haven't checked out the book and you're into Gabrielle Union, you're curious about her story, her rise to fame, the things that she has gone through in her life, get the book. You know, we're gonna need more wine. That's the name of it. So yes, you know, that got me to thinking. It doesn't take much to get the wheels turning in my mind, you know, and I've probably talked about this before, maybe from a slightly different angle. But at the end of the day, folks, let's really make concerted efforts, me included, to not celebrate the downfalls or feel good when things don't work out for other people. You know, I feel that what goes around comes around, folks. And as many times as I cringe at myself when I feel like I go over and beyond or do for others what they don't do for me, I have to remember that, Chanel, your blessings are going to come regardless. So even though the things that you may feel you do for certain people are not consistently reciprocated when it comes to you, God sees and knows your heart and what you're doing. And it's not going to go unnoticed, right? Whatever blessings are going to come from that are going to come. With that being said, I will also say, don't be a fool, Chanel, and break your neck for people who wouldn't do it for you. But for certain things in life, if you really feel heart-led or spirit-led to support someone or be there for someone, even though they have failed you in some ways, don't be the tit for tat person. Still do what's in your heart to do, because at the end of the day, your blessings are going to still come. They're going to come pouring in, regardless of whether that person sees and appreciates or recognizes and values what you have done and shown, right, to them as far as support and love. So just to encourage us with that, as well as, you know, let's really stop being those misery love company people who take pleasure in other people's misery. Not a cool thing, and what's going to come back to you, I feel like you're stifling your own blessings. It's not going to be a good ending for you in some ways, you know? So please just consider that. And I'm even trying to do better with, like I said, even if I feel slighted by someone, still ultimately wishing them well, you know? Sometimes, like I said, on probably my social media for Complex Simplicity, there are times where I feel like I'm working so hard to kind of set this whole brand apart. I'm trying to build something that I can materialize into a lucrative career in some ways. And it can be discouraging when you always feel like now everybody wants to be uber positive, or, you know, certain people that I may follow or may follow me. Oh, now, like, why do I feel like we're kind of like, get off of my territory, right? Kind of that feeling that Gabrielle had as far as, ooh. But then I remind myself, no, Chanel, if you're all about promoting positivity, there is never enough messages that can be continuously put out there to encourage people out there, folks out there, right? And so even though it may seem as though certain other bloggers, vloggers, whoever, because right now I feel like we're all trying to materialize our own coins in an entrepreneurial way, which I think is dope. At the same time, don't be discouraged, Chanel, if you find that, you know, sometimes you feel like people are treading on what you're trying to do. Because at the end of the day, if I'm really about helping, empowering, and encouraging people, the more of us that kind of have the same message, the better. And then I also try to comfort myself with, no one can do what you do how you do. So whatever stamp I have as Chanel Casimir of Complex Simplicity, that's my stamp. Can't nobody do what I do how I do, or take my identity in that way. People can try, it'll never come across as being authentic, because I only know how to do and be me, right? And so let that also be words of encouragement for those who may have those same sentiments that I do sometimes. When you really work hard to do something that's different than the masses and what everybody's trying to do and how they're trying to do what they're doing, you know, it can be like, oh, can I just be great? But then I have to remember, no, Chanel, Complex Simplicity is about spreading that positive message of loving yourself, knowing who you are, being strong enough to be vulnerable, accepting your flaws, building on your strengths, working on yourself and things you need to work on emotionally, spiritually, mentally, all of that physically, right? So we can continue to have that message because we need more of that in the world, right? Don't get caught up in, oh, why is your post similar to what I posted? Don't get caught up in all of that. Continue to do what you're doing, what you've been doing for a year and a half at this point. And, because at the end of the day, people can try to duplicate or whatever you want to say, but nobody can do you how you do, right? Nobody can be me. Only I can be me. And that should be enough encouragement to get me along the way. There is room for all of us with all of our messages, similar, different, whatever you want to call it. And at the end of the day, nobody truly benefits from wanting to tear anyone down. Not cool. It really shows more of where your securities are, or your insecurities are, I should say. And that's ultimately what Gabrielle Union was saying. I was so severely insecure within myself that I was fueled off of putting other women down who were trying to make it happen in Hollywood the way that I was. So take it for what it is, folks. I'm hoping that this message was enlightening, empowering, encouraging, thought-provoking, challenging for all of us. As I always say, everything that I discuss, I'm not above it. I'm talking to myself as I share these messages with you all. Please be safe on this Halloween evening. Have a great week. Thank you for showing love as usual, and continue to rock with your girl by going to complexedsimplicity.com. And until next time.